It's time for Loveline.
You know, there's going to be sex, drugs, rock and roll.
The crowd seems to love it.
Careful, it's slippery. I had it wet.
Exclusively on Tucson's new run. 92.1 KFMA, Green Valley, Tucson. K292CM Summer Hit. Loveline is meant for an adult audience. Loveline may contain sexually oriented content. Listener discretion advised.
Now, here's Loveline.
1-800-LOVE-191.
With Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
Hey, it's Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. It's Dr. Drew. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. Dr. Drew is a board-certified physician and addiction medicine specialist. We're out at Westwood 2 in Manhattan. We're in New York City because we did Conan O'Brien tonight. Had ourselves a good time. Tough schedule, but we're here, and we're happy to be here. Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle, is here tonight, hanging out with us, and was nice enough to come and deal with these East Coast hours. It's tough to book a guest in New York on this show because we're 1 to 3, and most folks don't want to put up with that. But Rob's keeping it real, and he may have to carry the last hour of the show because
we may be asleep on the floor.
Wheels may come off the wagon. Rob, I was just lying in my hotel room thinking about a nap, as usual.
Before you finished with the porn or after?
No, didn't masturbate.
Oh, yeah. Are you all right?
I will be after the 20 break, because I'm going to have to get something off at some point.
Because you got to get to sleep when you get back to the room.
Because of the time difference, I have whack lag. I should always masturbate in the airport. Remind me to do that tomorrow morning at 5:30 when we're heading out to Newark. But I thought to myself, well, what questions am I going to ask Vanilla Ice? And then I thought, you know, the thing I would be most interested in, and I'm sure you've told it 1,000 times, but most our listeners would probably be most interested in, is just this sort of condensed version of the whole story. Because we all sort of know the bits and the pieces. But I don't even know where you're from originally, how old you were when it started to break. I saw the movie. I want you to know they ran it on VH1 about 2 months ago, and I watched every effing second of that thing. I could not turn it off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, I've been up to...
it wasn't good, but I couldn't turn it off. I mean, I just couldn't. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, you know... we did it. You know, it was a movie, let money influence a lot of my direction. And, you know, I was into the music back then, and the money influenced me into doing a movie, so I did it. But, you know, my heart was always into the music. I did Ice Ice Baby when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's been a rough road for, you know.
You did that song?
When I was 16, I signed at a small label called Ichiban out of Atlanta. And then in 1990, I signed with SBK.
Where were you then? Where were you living?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas.
Yep. Dallas, Texas, and then...
Did you fight your way to that label, or did somebody find you? And
I did...
His dad owned a hip-hop club and put him in the back door. Of course he fought.
No, I'm just curious.
He's a fighter.
Well, at 16, how long can you have fought for?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. When did you start rapping and doing drum beats and dancing and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, I just kind of... I played, you know, like black clubs, like an all hip-hop type crowd, you know. I was an opening act for, like, Ice-T and Stetsasonic and EPMD. I did the Stop the Violence tour and stuff.
And what year is that?
This is like late 80s.
And you're 16
at the time.
Yeah. And when I was in 1990s, when most people heard Ice Ice Baby, I was like 19 and then 20 around there. But you know, it was pretty much everybody knows the story from that point on. You know, I signed with SBK, and they basically took my record, and which was a hip hop record, and they crossed it over to the pop market, and it had tremendous success.
Yeah.
But it threw me into this, like, novelty type category, which really wasn't the direction I wanted to go. But I was influenced, kind of playing this puppet role. You know, when I say that, I was influenced by the money, you know, because when I went in there, I was like, I don't want to cross this record over to the pop market. This isn't what I want to do. And they were like, well, we do it for $1 million. And I was like, blah, 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 blah. But sure.
I was the same way with oral sex on a man until someone pulled out the 20, and then...
I was like 3 car payments behind on my car. What do you ask me? So I think anybody in my shoes would have done the same thing.
Well, how did you get started? I mean, what were you doing when you were 13?
Breakdancing. I was like this little kid listening to, like, Egyptian Lover, you know, and fat gold rope chain and a little Fila sweatsuit, and I get like 30 bucks a day, you know, pull out some cardboard and just people come by and throw some money at you. So that then turned into, the dancing turned into the singing and dancing. Yeah. And the writing. Yep. And then, Ice Ice Baby, you recorded at 16, but it didn't really break until you were 19. Right, exactly. So when all that was going down, then in 1990, you were 19 years old. Yeah. And then you did the movie shortly thereafter? Yeah, like 91, 92, somewhere. I mean, everything happened really fast, you know. Okay, and then what happened? There was like a huge meltdown, you know. I mean, it got huge. We sold millions and millions of records, but, you know, I can even, like, step out of my skin and look at it and be like, you know, it's kind of cheesy. It got turned into a big novelty type thing that really wasn't what I intended, you know, to do with the music and everything, and it was very depressing for me, so I turned to drugs as an escape route. Basically, reality was a drag to me, and I can say it with a smile on my face because I've been 4 years sober now. So congratulations. Yeah, thanks. And, you know, it was a learning experience for me. It lasted from like 92 to 94. Found myself on the floor with my friends dumping buckets of cold water, I thought they were my friends, dumped buckets of cold water on me, and I basically overdosed that night on heroin, and I woke up the next day and none of my so-called friends were there. And I was all alone, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to start over from right here, and I did, you know, and it was pretty hard. I had to kick the drug habit. That bottom is amazing. Yeah, and it was unreal, you know. Plus, I had all the money in the world and just couldn't find any happiness, you know. Yeah, but, you know, it's amazing that at, you know, 20, 21, 22, you have no coping skills whatsoever. Well, you're just stating a fact. Your training has been spinning around on your head on a piece of cardboard. That's right. And if anything, you have less coping skills because use your head. Yeah, and plus, you know, I thought the music industry... a lazy Susan for many years, right. But anyway. I thought the music industry, I had this dream of it, you know, like what it would be like. Right, and then when I reached the reality part, it was nothing like this. And there was nowhere near as good as the dream. At that point in that industry, drugs were still a huge endemic issue. Yeah, yeah. So now it's 1994, or 93, 94. You've sobered up. Mm-hmm. And let's take it from here. You haven't been involved in the Musicians Assistance Program, have you? No. Okay. No, but I released a record in 94 that didn't have much success. It was like an underground hip-hop record, and that kind of depressed me, too, so that threw me into that overdose night. But about 9 months ago or so, I started doing concerts again, kind of going back to my roots, and basically didn't know what to expect, you know. And all the shows were sold out, and it was incredible, you know, to see this. So it kind of fueled me to get, you know, back into this thing. And I get this call from Monty Littman over at the record label, and he says, "Man, you don't even have a record out, and you're like number 4 on Polestar. You're selling out all these shows. What's going on?" I'm like, "I am? Well, this is great." You know, I was just kind of like amazed. And he says, "Let's do a record." So I'm like, I don't know if I even want to go through that again, because the last one almost killed me, you know. Right. So I don't even know if I want to do that again, because personally, financially, I'm set for life off of my first record. That's one of the pluses. Are you? See, that would have been one of my questions. I didn't know if you got screwed. I didn't know about the whole Suge Knight deal. I didn't know if you threw all your money away. I didn't know if you had money or not. No, I've made good investments. Now, how did you do that? You just got hooked up with somebody who knew what they were doing, and they put it in the right place? I learned from losing a lot, and then just basically learn from my mistakes, and then figure out what the right thing is to do with the money, you know, and who to really trust. So you're financially set? Yeah, totally. It's 1:10 in the morning, and he's sitting here with us. That's commitment, everybody. That takes a lot of commitment. If I had $100 in the bank, I'd be home snorting coke right now. I swear to God. Oh, all right, so then you got together. I saw a thing. I just caught the tail end of something you did on MTV, one of those, whatever it is, late night things. You were, it showed you performing. You were talking about Korn and Deftones and bands like that we've known about because we've had them on this show. I'm like the 6th member of Korn. I don't know if you're hip to that. Did Ross Robinson produce produce Hard to Swallow? Yeah, he's amazing, super talented. Is he a New York guy? No, he's L.A. He's from L.A. right there. Who's the dude I was dealing with? Every time I go hang around with the band Korn, I think that they end up holding me down and blowing pot smoke in my face, and I can't remember where I am. But you didn't know about this music, right? I mean, not really. You know, I just wanted to really deliver what I had to say because I was tapping into some real, touchy subjects in my life, and I wanted to, release it in a very intense way. And there was no way it was going to get done with like a drum machine, like the old school stuff.
Should we hear something from it?
So to match the intensity that I wanted to deliver, I had to have the band, and who better to do the type of music I'm doing than the guy who invented it, Ross Robinson.
Well, let's hear something. Which one are we going to hear off of Hard to Swallow? I gave Rob back the CD.
Like Too Cold, maybe?
Too Cold?
Yeah.
We got that queued up? All right, here it is. Too Cold. That'd be Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle. You're still Vanilla Ice, right?
Yeah. A lot of people were like, why don't you change your name? And I'm like, because the sound is so different and everything. And I say, I think of like Prince or something. They change your name. It really doesn't matter.
The artist formerly known as Vanilla Ice.
Plus, it leaves another door open for, people to make jokes, and that's the last thing I need.
Well, here's the deal, too. Here's the problem with when you change your name. You change your name to Ice Pick, because you gotta, I'll write that down. Because you got an edge, and then people go, Ice Pick, Vanilla Ice? Oh, yeah, right, Ice Pick, yeah. People so they still end up working your first name or original name into it anyway.
It's not about the name, it's about the music,
Right.
People know who I am.
Hard to Swallow is the name of the...
Are you trying to tell your story? It's a great story.
New CD.
Is that part of the you're talking about it much?
I've been opened up talking about it now.
It's a great story.
Well, I have ADD, attention deficit disorder, so I found recently that a drug called Adderall to help me focus, and maintain like a normal level, should I say?
Yeah.
And so I can talk about it freely. Plus, I'm sober. That helps a lot.
Yeah. So does the medication make a big difference?
Yeah. And the ADD, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it's a huge difference.
I could try some of that.
You don't really,
I don't have it. True. Do I have anything? Shouldn't I have something? I
more
read
personality
poorly.
disorder.
I can't focus. I can't hold down a relationship. Shouldn't I have something?
You should.
Could you work on something for me? All right.
I'm afraid what you'll do with it.
All right. We're going to go to the phones now.
We're going to line 4 first. It's Daryl.
Daryl, you're 14. What's going on?
I masturbate and I have sex on the computer.
On the computer?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll short it out. You got to turn it off. Do you believe Daryl? Does it sound sort of bogus?
Because, I always go on the room and ask girls if they want to have sex, and sometimes I'll even pretend I'm a girl and have sex with other girls.
What is your question for us, Daryl?
Is that normal?
14. I mean, I wonder what kind of world my kids are going to come into as far as this all goes. I mean, access to all kinds of weird stuff at all times. I wonder what that's going to do to them. I don't know that Daryl's behavior is outside of the normal spectrum. I mean, to a kid coming into his puberty, exposed to the world of what we have now with the free access, all kinds of stuff.
I think pretty much a 14-year-old male who's, like I said, coming into puberty will go until somebody stops him.
Yeah,
I mean, I would have too, except for the only thing I had when I was 14 were those little vending machines with the star, paper with the, the chick with the big stars over her nipples. In the front, you'd bang on the top and try to yank the thing open because you didn't have a quarter for it.
Playboys in the trash can behind liquor stores or something, you said.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that was about it. But I would have gone as far as I could go. It's just technology had set its limits. And I certainly would be on the computer. I'd certainly be looking at videotapes. I'd certainly be doing whatever I could do.
All right, but it's normal, but it may not. I mean, there's a kind of weird stuff he can get himself into in these chat rooms. I mean, keep it to himself. Don't get involved with other people.
Imagine the poor bastards, though, he's talking to or communicating with who think he's a girl who are actually whacking off to a 14-year-old kid.
It's just that part seems creepy, unhealthy to me.
Daryl?
He's on hold.
Oh, he is? Yeah, Daryl? Who you talk? You're talking to people and you're saying you're a woman?
Yeah.
And you're having sex with them by sort of typing your messages to them?
Uh-huh.
And what's in it for you?
I don't know.
Just getting them stimulated, the kind of responses they get.
But is it stimulating? What I'm saying is it's a funny goof, and I could understand you and your buddies sort of all laughing and deciding what to type next, but you getting into it as a female.
But with other females.
Oh. Not with guys?
No.
All girls?
Of course.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So you get into like lesbians and
I'm into
stuff?
that now.
That's cool.
Hey, can I sleep over, Daryl?
I'll
bring beer. I'll be the only friend of yours who can buy a 12-pack on the way over.
Let's keep going. Let's talk to Amy. Amy is 19. Amy, what's going on there? Amy?
Yeah. Hi.
What's your problem?
I got my tongue pierced like a month ago, and I guess I'm just kind of concerned about having a higher risk of, like, contacting an STD.
I'm not aware of any higher risk. I mean, once the tongue...
Well, the higher risk is the chicks with tongue piercings are hornier. They bury their face in more crotches and therefore have a higher risk of STD.
I mean, if that's true, I don't know that that's true, but if you're having oral sex without a condom, you're at risk for STDs in general, and I don't know that the piercing increases that risk. The whole epithelializes. Once it's healed, that's it. There's nothing sort of open there unless it continues to bleed or something.
So epithelialize.
It's like grows in.
Yeah, so it becomes just a hole, but you could dump whatever you wanted through it, and it wouldn't be any different than dumping it on your tongue or your pinky or whatever.
That's right.
Okay, so it's not like an open sore?
It is not like an open sore, but, you should be practicing safe sex anyway, right?
Yeah, well, I'm just talking about, like, oral sex.
That is a risk for STD, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It's the same as genital intercourse. Do you understand that?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right. See, our take on the tongue piercing, especially on a male or a female, but it's this. You're sort of saying you're open for business. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's got it, and this may not be the case for everybody who has what we like to call a sort of aggressive piercing, but if you saw a 19-year-old girl no tongue piercing, and you saw a 19-year-old girl with a tongue piercing, and you really wanted a BJ, you'd probably start with the one who had the tongue piercing. It doesn't mean you're automatically going to get it. It's just if you're playing the odds, instead of flipping the coin, my take would be, I'm going to check this one out first. I think I got a little higher percentage of getting something done here.
It's possible.
We may be completely wrong, but that's sort of our take on it.
It's like women dressing provocatively, too. Sometimes it is somebody who is...
Well, they could be a prostitute.
Well, but sometimes...
Drew wouldn't know it, though. Last time we were in Manhattan, I got to tell this story again just because Rob will probably enjoy it. We were walking, I know what your example is. Just because you're wearing a tube top doesn't mean you want it.
Right, sometimes it's old stuff that they're sort of acting as a way of exerting power over men.
Right, but if you're wearing a burlap sack or a barrel, chances are you really don't want it.
But it may be more chaos ahead.
We're walking home from the studio a couple of weeks ago when we're in town at about 3:15 in the morning. Well, you'll find out when we're walking home at 3:15. Hey, do you have a car?
Yeah.
Are they picking you up?
Yeah, we'll hook you up with a ride.
Oh, we'll get a ride with you.
Wow. Oh, that is so great.
Oh, this is going to be good. Oh, that's awesome. All right, you have to stay the whole show, right?
I'll be here.
And I like to hang out and chat it up.
We don't.
About 4:30 or 5. You cool? So we're walking back to the hotel because we're not stars. We don't get cars. We're walking back. It's about 3:15. We're crossing Broadway right here, and there's 4 chicks with enough eye mascara to keep every woman in France busy for the next 5 years, and they're stuffed into a van. And when they roll the window down, and one of them yells as we're crossing the crosswalk, "Hey, come here!" And Drew, without looking up, just starts heading that direction. He's just heading for the van.
Sucker.
And I grabbed Drew's arm, and I yanked him sort of back in the crosswalk, and I said, keep walking. And he said, those ladies required our assistance. They had an inquiry of some sort. I said, Drew, those were hookers. He said... What do you mean? How do you know? I said, it's 3:30 in the morning. They're all in the same minivan. They're all wearing, feathered boas and tube tops, and hair's up to here. And plus, we passed their pimp dropping them off and arguing with them on the way into the studio. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Drew, believe me. What do you think they wanted at 3:30 in the morning?
Directions.
They're all sitting in a van.
Oh, no, it is.
Oh, are you naive?
Yes, I am.
All right. That's good. That's what we hate about you.
All right, we're going to do...
Oh, look what time it is.
I know. We're going to do Jeff when we come back.
What's Jeff's from?
Why don't you read that?
Jeff, he's 14, ejaculated in class. There's some extra credit. Is it the first time it's happened? Is it normal? No and no. And we'll get back to get a little more in depth on that one after this.
Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. The phone number's 1-800-LOVE-191.
We'll be right back.
It is Loveline. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. I'm Adam Carolla. That's Dr. Drew. Vanilla Ice. Rob Van Winkle is in the studio tonight. Hard to Swallow is the name of the new CD, and we're in New York. We'll be back tomorrow night. And it was nice enough. Well, we did Conan O'Brien out here, and Rob was nice enough to come and hang out with us on this very late hour here in New York, and will be nice enough to drive us both back to our hotel.
Yeah.
Where
my pleasure.
Go to bed at 3:30 and get up at 5:10.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
You think of the kind of arguing we're going to be doing tomorrow.
Oh, we just got to keep sharp objects away. They can't give us utensils when we have breakfast.
Yeah,
it'd be like stabbing a fork in your thigh.
Like prison. We'll have to eat with just a piece of shoe leather or something. Yeah, we're going to kill each other. Oh, that's going to be excellent. All right, shut up, Mike. Going right after your ass as soon as I get back to L.A. Jewel will be in tomorrow night, by the way, which is pretty cool, because she hasn't done the show since I've been on the show.
Probably been 7 years, I bet you. 6 years. I bet you.
Really?
A long. She was not Jewel.
Talk to Jewel 6 years ago.
And pick stuff out. She goes, "This is the one. You got to talk to her." We're like, "What? Who?"
Wow.
Jewel. And the next night we had a band called Belly. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And they were thinking, "Oh, which one's which? What?"
Oh yeah. I like Belly. I wish they'd. I don't know what the hell Belly's doing, but that's a good band. Okay, where the hell are we, Drew?
Talking to Jeff.
Jeff?
Jeff is 14. And Jeff?
Yes.
What happened?
All right. Do I have to tell you, like, everything about me? Like, what's
well, this is a very curious story, so we're just interested. You tell us what you want to tell us.
All right. We were having, like, a little debate thing in class the other day. And, what happened was this girl, she, like, team was going back and forth and all that. And she dropped some papers off the table, and I was looking, and she bent over to get them, and, kind of saw down her shirt, and I ejaculated right there in class. And it's never happened to me like that before, and I was just, I don't know, kind of freaked out about it. I don't know what.
Well, don't be freaked out. I mean, it's a normal biology. It's just, it's ordinary extraordinary.
But you must have had an erection for quite some time while you were arguing. What was the topic of the debate?
We were just debating, like, about abortion and stuff, and it was pro-life, pro-choice thing, and I don't know, I did have an erection at the time, but, I mean...
You did? Hey, you must have had one for some time.
Were you on any medication?
No, I'm not taking anything.
Okay. Well, I mean, God bless the 14-year-old male. I mean, that biology is just operating. And it also, interestingly, shows the connection between aggression and sexuality in males, too, doesn't it? They're fighting. And then she bends over, and it becomes a sexual experience, and boom.
Right, you had all the elements there.
Is it supposed to happen that fast, or what?
It's not supposed to happen that fast, but it certainly can. And you got to learn to sort of deal with all that. Do you masturbate?
Only a couple times. But.
Okay.
Yeah, it's time to get on a maintenance schedule, my friend. This is going to happen again. Did the teacher mind you smoking and dabbing your forehead with a piece of cloth and sort of leaning back in the middle of class? Or what did you do when you...
Not everybody has a training corner for their masturbatory habits.
You sit there with a towel.
Yeah, I understand that you have a team there waiting for you.
My left hand in a bucket of ice. Bald black man sponging me off. Holding my underpants out so I can breathe a little. And doing that chest rub where they're loosening me up. Hey,
I understand. It has a whole different meaning, though.
Oh, yes. I guess the question I have for the caller is, after it happened, what happened?
What'd you do?
Well, I don't know if I've seen, like, a couple movies before, and, like, I know that when that happens, like, your breathing's a little affected, and people kind of notice that, so I think everybody knows.
No. I don't think people would conclude that, Jeff. I mean, people would have assumed that you were excited about the discussion you were having and that you're, hyperventilating or something. People would not conclude that.
No.
I was laughing about it, so...
Okay, maybe they thought that.
Yeah. What, did they say anything to you?
No, I asked to go to the bathroom right after, so... I think.
I don't think anybody would notice, Jeff. And God knows that age is cruel enough that if they even got a hint that was going on, you would have heard about it. Don't you think? Imagine your buddies.
Oh, yeah, immediately. And plus, with the name Jeff, they would have it's just Jack Off Jeff. I mean, that's it. That'd be your name. And not for the semester, for 40 years. My friend Ray caught my buddy Jackie having at himself one day. Did I ever tell you this story? God, this is so funny. Oh, they're both going to kill me. I don't care. I'm in New York. My buddy Jackie, many years ago, 10 years ago, claimed he didn't masturbate. And Ray would not accept this as an answer. So
went on a mission.
What happened was this guy's folks were out of town. Everyone was sort of hanging around and whatever. And Ray went and hid in the closet of the parents' master bedroom.
Ray is not just a sociopath, it's a psychopath, isn't he?
And he'd be a good detective. He gets the job done.
If he would come onto the light side, he's still staying on the dark side there.
And waited for Jackie to stumble into the room, look around, draw the drapes, grab the hustler from between the mattress and the box spring, and start to have at it, and about halfway into it, jumped out of the closet, and then ran through the house.
I hope he had like a defibrillator there for Ray, for Jackie. I mean,
the point is Jackie's name became Smacky from that point on, and that was it. That's his name. It's been 12 years. I see the guy now. You know, hey Smacky, how's it going? That's it. That's his name.
He's 40 with 3 kids.
Right. It's going to be on his gravestone. So. If people had known, they would have labeled. They would have labeled
poor
you.
Imagine the humiliation, the embarrassment. I mean, the poor kid. Yeah, that's a shame. And that's that age when the biology is starting to go, and they have to learn how to manage it. And
do not wear sweatpants.
Don't worry,
school.
You're
at
fine.
that age.
You're gonna be fine.
Don't wear a kilt. You wear 2 pair of unwashed Levi's and 3 pair of underwear.
We'll talk to Jonathan next. Jonathan is 12.
Jonathan, what is this 12? It's like a romper room tonight.
Jonathan.
Yes?
How you doing?
I'm fine.
What's up?
My sister watches the show all the time, except I don't because I think Adam's an ass, but can I ask a nice question?
He's 12 years old. Great. Do you have a firearm at the house, Jonathan?
No.
Okay. Good.
Go ahead, Rob's here.
I was wondering why you changed your style from rap to like rave.
It's not really rave. It's called, like skate rock or Adidas rock. It's like, heavy metal meets punk rock meets hip hop. The reason is because, basically I wanted to express myself in a very intense way, and it wasn't going to happen with a drum machine. Drum machines are only whatever you program in them, and to match the intensity that I wanted to deliver, it was going to have to be done, with a band.
Yeah. All right, I was just wanting to call because I'm your number one fan and stuff.
Wow,
Cool.
Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I think you were Jonathan's age when you started spinning around in your head.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Right. That's about that age.
Hey,
all right, Jonathan.
Jonathan, I put a curse on you. I hope you don't get laid until you're in your 40s.
I put a blessing on you. Good luck.
Thanks, Jonathan.
All
right.
Getting grief from 12-year-olds, Drew.
I love that. Let's go to Marla. Marla is 15. Marla.
Hello?
Hey, Drew, hold on. Wasn't I just yelling about the age?
Well, look. All right.
Well, jackass,
Marla,
you got 27, you got 24, you got 19
all right,
up there.
AJ, 27.
You go to 12.
AJ.
AJ.
Hello.
Let's talk to you before Drew actually puts a mic up some chick's crotch and we talk to someone in the fetal stage.
The next thing you're going to tell me, though, is, hey, they've been on hold an hour, you didn't go to them. I've been trying to get some people who have been on hold for a while taken care of.
Well,
oh, shut up. I never say that.
AJ.
Yes.
What's going on?
First of all, I want to say that I listen to your show all the time, and I think you guys do a fabulous job.
Thank you.
I know this will probably shake Drew to his very moral fiber, but I aspire to be just like Adam.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
I say Adam for president.
Yeah. All right.
What this country needs.
You really shouldn't be on the phone now. You should be either napping or masturbating. I don't know what you're doing.
And I hope the current historical trends will teach you that wanting to be like somebody is different than wanting them to be president.
Right. That's a good point. My question tonight is, I'm 27 and married, and we have a baby, 11-month-old baby. The relationship from the beginning was, first of all, she comes from a history of abuse, as do I. We both met under drug addictive circumstances. And
you were in treatment?
I beg your pardon?
Were you in treatment?
No, they were high.
No, yeah, we were just high at the time. We weren't in treatment at the time. I'm in treatment now. But
you're presently in treatment?
Yes.
How about her?
She sees a therapist, but she's not in any kind of drug. She just stopped smoking pot. That was our deal. We just got high all the time. Anyway, the relationship got real codependent, and depression and everything else was a factor, and we just kind of fell apart. And it really came out one night when we got together with another female friend of ours and had a threesome together. One night I was drunk, came home stumbling drunk, and they were in the bedroom without any clothes on, kind of to play a joke. I could hear them in the living room talking and laughing, and then when I started rattling the key, they like ran in the bedroom to try and set this whole thing up just as a joke, you know. And when I came in, I thought I had just like shut my eyes and ended up in Penthouse Forum or something. You know, this was like almost a fantasy come true. And
hey, AJ?
Yeah?
I don't want to interrupt, but if you're going to mold yourself after me, there's going to be no more threesomes. I'll tell you that right now. You get laid twice a year, that's it.
I'm part of the edge.
And the practical jokes don't involve two lesbians getting it on your bed. It involves a bucket of water over the door or the flaming crap on the doorstep.
Hey, why don't we go to break right now?
All right.
And then we'll come back and finish up with AJ. AJ, hang on a sec.
All right, AJ, we'll get to the bottom of the threesome and whatever relationship question you had. Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle is here tonight, and we'll be back with more Loveline after this.
I feel so liquidy.
Really? Why?
You're listening to Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. Loveline will be right back.
You can see my next guest providing advice on sex and love on MTV's Loveline. They also have a new book out. It's called the Dr. Drew and Adam Book, A Survival Guide to Life and Love. Please welcome Dr. Drew Pinsky and Adam Carolla.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, that is the world's worst book title.
Yes.
And I just cringe back there. We told those a-holes over at Dell Publishing, look, let us name the book, and they gave us a real hard time about it.
The original title was Adam is from Mars, Drew is from Pasadena. It's a great title.
Teaching Teens to Smoke is what I wanted to call the book. Get all sorts of controversy whipped up, and then you sell some product. But anyway, that was Conan O'Brien. That was
again, we were just talking. We left out the radio program. You notice that intro?
Yeah. Yeah. There's no consistency to it. Did he mention my last name? Or he said Dr. Drew and Adam?
He switched back. He used both of our last names, and then he switched back to. He was all over the place with that.
You know, the thing that's funny about TV, everybody, is there's a lot of concrete thinking going on. By the way, Conan O'Brien, very nice guy. Chatted with him for a while and all that good stuff. But here's the way TV works. They'll say Dr. Drew and Adam.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I don't pull the Star Trip. I don't think, I'm not a pain in the ass. I don't have a publicist. But I say, Dr. Drew is a title. Dr. Ruth, you got the doctor. It's kind of like a first name, Dr. Drew. Adam doesn't really mean that much. And I'm not Madonna. I'm not Cher. Adam doesn't mean squat. So if you would please, could you say Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla?
And Dr. Drew Pinsky and Adam Carolla.
See, they have to put my last name in when they put your last name.
They will not do Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla. They can't process that. So I'll go, just say Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla from Loveline. Okay, so Dr. Drew Pinsky. What's Drew's middle name? No, just say Dr. Drew. That's his title, and then my title is my effing name, What's your middle name? It's either both or none. But God bless him. I got my last name in there.
And then leave the radio show out sometimes. And I actually went out there with that, going, ooh, they left out the radio show. We'll have to talk about that.
No, you didn't. You warned me not to talk about the radio before we walked out on stage.
We already had the T-shirt controversy going, and so the radio wasn't on my mind as I walked out there. And you get out there, and boom, everything goes. Then you were talking about whatever you're talking about.
Right. Well, it's completely surreal. You slept for 2 hours and you're staring at Conan O'Brien whose head looks bigger than one of those Macy's Day floats in real life. And you know, listen, I'm like a carpenter from the Valley. I mean, I was watching Conan O'Brien when Conan O'Brien first came on, and the idea that I'm sitting next to him looking at him is too surreal for me. It's all I can think about. It's like if you were making out with Claudia Schiffer, do you think you'd be thinking about
what we're doing?
Would you think about making out, or would you just think, my God, this is Claudia Schiffer? My God. So I made out with Conan after the show. Vanilla Ice is here. Rob Van Winkle. Hard to Swallow is the name of the new CD. We'll hear something else off of that in the 11 o'clock hour.
Right now we're talking to AJ. AJ is 27. He has a marriage that was conceived in chaos, and they were addicts together. Now AJ's you in treatment now?
Yes.
AJ is. AJ's in treatment. Wife has got a therapist. She stopped smoking pot spontaneously. AJ really was an addict, required treatment, and they got involved in some kind of weird threesome.
AJ, can I ask you a question, brother?
You bet.
You love your wife?
See, that's my question. I can't answer that honestly right away. I feel like I have a love for her, but I'm not in love with her, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
I love her like I would be concerned with her the same now as if we broke up and I was checking on her on Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you love the baby, right?
Oh, with all my heart.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, you know, a lot of people stay together for the wrong reasons, but it sounds to me like you guys are a little confused.
Well,
poor Rob, by the way, because we're just talking to him during the commercial. I said, Rob, by the way, you know, if you got some advice, jump on in, because Drew and I just go at our own pace, and you gotta jump in like a little black girl jumping into a double Dutch jump rope thing. You gotta time it and jump in. So we just told Rob, just jump in. So Rob came in with a head of steam, and I know where he was going. I said, you love your wife, right? No, I don't. Crap. Take it.
I didn't mean that as cut and dry.
Well, no, AJ, actually, that was...
No, you're being honest.
Yeah, and that was an example of something that's going to serve you well in your recovery, which is honesty. And you're
saying, you know, your marriage has gone down, so, I mean, and part of that's probably because you don't love each other all the way.
Well, is it because of this recent experience that the love is sort of
the threesome?
Well, see, it's interesting because I think that was just like one of many manifestations in the relationship. I mean, that happened. We both kind of like felt weird about it, went through with it because it was exciting. But I mean, the relationship was rocky to begin with. In fact, I personally later, and I've discussed this with her since, but in the beginning, before the wedding, had my doubts and wanted to call it off, but it was, you know, it's too spineless and for
all right. Here are some basic parameters for you, JJ. I'm sure in your recovery they're telling you no major changes. What'd I say?
You gave JJ.
AJ, there's no major changes for 12 months, right?
Right.
Are they telling you that?
Yeah.
No major changes. Because sometimes in recovery, you find a new foundation for relationships. I mean, as you get more honest, as you gain a capacity for intimacy, if she too goes into some form of treatment or at least makes progress in her treatment, you may find something here that really is of substance. And even if it's just trying to kindle a relationship or an intimacy on behalf of your child together, I mean, that's a reason for a commitment right there. And right now, I would suspect any relationship you would get into at this point in your life would be very much like this.
Right.
It would be empty. It would be dysfunctional.
Absolutely.
It would not be full of intimacy. And it's going to be quite a while before we have a real capacity for that.
When is the 12-month mark of your sobriety or your treatment?
We'll see. I'm only in like the first 3 weeks of it right now.
Yeah, AJ, don't overthink things. Your priority right now is your sobriety. Go to meetings, work your steps, encourage your wife to go to Al-Anon or whatever codependency recovery she needs to go to. You, too, will need some codependency treatment down the road, not yet. And don't make any change right now.
Well,
just focus on your sobriety.
Is it better then that we stick it out and kind of, because we're driving each other absolutely insane.
Well, talk to your people that are treating you. I think just your mantra should be no change, no big change. If you need to be away from her, great. Go to sober living, be away from her, create some structure, but don't make any major choices. Don't make any big changes in your life, unless there's some
funny. I'm going to be in Wino Town this weekend.
Wino Town?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's across the street from Sober Living.
All right.
Place to sit around.
Rob's trying to say something here.
Well, I was just going to say I can kind of relate to this
comes
guy.
out of the drinking fountain.
I was just going to say I can kind of relate to him because, you know, I'm married and I have a baby as well. So it's like, you know, and then I went through the drug phase myself. I think that once you get through the drugs and get that out of you, being sober, you'll have a better picture at what life is really really all about, and maybe you should give that a chance, and don't give up on your wife right now. Maybe and just see what happens in the future.
Did you meet your wife when you were using?
Yes, I did.
And so does she have some kind of treatment also?
Yes, we both did. Yep, both.
It's really important.
Great.
Really important. If
things
people
iron out.
They change a lot and they get better, and but it's not easy. It's usually very painful for those things to improve. And you got to remember, if one member of a couple is getting treatment, the other one has to get some form of treatment too to catch up with the growth of the other person, because what attracts you and keeps you together initially is your pathology, is what's abnormal about you. When that starts healing, the relationship stops working. The person that's not growing starts trying to pull the person back into that old relationship, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, it takes it from both sides, and if you don't have enough love for yourself, do it for the love of the baby. All
right, good advice. I was just thinking while you guys were talking, my goal in life is to never do something to the point where I have to quit it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think of where it might apply in your life that you're already there.
You have no control, though, either.
I know, but see, my thing is there's a lot of things in life I like. I love twice a year to have a bong load and eat an entire pie. I really do.
Is that just for holidays?
Pie place is open later. Oh, we're heading into pie season.
Oh boy,
this is huge. But the point is
pumpkin pie.
I really can't do that with any consistency. I'll be fat and stoned if I do that. But I love it.
Yeah.
So I do it
for that moment. Right.
Do it a couple times a year. There's a couple things I like to do.
From using it and abusing it.
Right.
You don't wake and bake and just eat pies all day.
Right.
You could.
Oh, I could. That'd be good.
Yeah, but you'd be huge.
Right. It wouldn't work out. But the point is the reason I love it so much, and that's the reason why I'm not going to do it every night. Because then it would mean I would spin out of control and I couldn't do it. And I know people don't have that control. A lot of people with the alcoholic gene or the pie gene or whatever gene.
It takes a lot of self-discipline.
Right. Now, for me, it's just it's a biology. It just doesn't take.
No one's going to whip your ass and tell you to do it, So it's like you got to be the one to do it yourself.
But I'm totally convinced from looking at myself, looking at my family, looking at some of my friends, which is some people, it's like they're made out of Velcro and everything sticks. I mean, if it's good, it sticks and it just keeps sticking.
Yeah.
With me, I could smoke pot every day for 2 weeks and then not smoke pot for 6 months and not even think about it.
I understand that some of that is biology that's sticking, as you say, and some of it is the environment, the psychology, that people need that escape in order to manage life, and the brain always wants them to sort of go to a place of feeling better.
Right.
And if you can't do it with any internal resource, coping mechanism, you'll do something else.
Yeah. If reality's a drag, you're going to want to escape from it. And then when you come back to it after you're high, you're going to see that reality is much lower than when you started.
That's right. And if you have that gene going, there ain't no stopping it.
All right, let's see if we can...
You know what? I suggest we go to a break.
You do?
Yeah, because these are all pretty intense calls coming up here. So
they are.
Yeah.
Why, you want to sell one? Isn't that good radio?
All right. Why don't we...
So you start thinking about good radio, would you?
I've never known it, so it's hard for me.
15 years, you can't figure out radio.
That's right. Jenny is 28. Adam, why don't you read
that? She and hubby are into porn. Should she feel guilty? Is it degrading to women? Yeah, but that's a good part.
All
okay.
Right.
We'll speak to Jenny. Vanilla Ice is hanging out here. Jenny's 28, and we'll get to all that after this.
This is Loveline. Loveline will be right back. On 92.1 KFMA.
Hey, the Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. That's Dr. Drew. That's the cadence, everybody. Vanilla Ice is here, Rob Van Winkle. And Hard to Swallow is the name of the CD. We'll hear something else off of that coming up real shortly. We're going to take a 10-second, top of the hour, station identification break, and we'll be back with more Loveline in 10 seconds.
This is Loveline on radio station 92.1 KFMA, Green Valley, Tucson.
What car?
I mean, Vanilla Ice's car. Rob's car.
My car.
Rob needs his car. Oh, hey, it's Loveline. Oh, It's 2 a.m. here in New York. We're here at the Westwood One facility. Rob Van Winkle, Vanilla Ice is here, and Drew just said to me, we are getting up at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
Which, by the way, is 2 a.m. our time.
Oh, who cares? I don't even know where I am.
2
Getting up at, hate to drive this into the ground, but I can think of nothing else. Getting up at 5 a.m., going to the Newark airport.
First one we get out of town.
Getting on a 7 a.m. flight. Going to land in LAX about 10:15 in the morning tomorrow.
Yeah.
Going straight to the Loveline TV show. And there we will sit. We will do 4 one-hour shows, and then we'll go straight to the radio show. Oh, am I going to start yelling at people tomorrow on that set? There's nothing worse. I'm going to be like a badger with its foot caught in a bear trap. Oh, if those wardrobe girls bother me tomorrow, Drew. Oh, I'm going to try to take a nap. I'm going to try to take a nap during the first 2 shows. I want you to cover me. All right? Tell Adam's taking a piss. Hard to Swallow is the name of Rob's CD. We will hear something else off of that coming up pretty soon. But first, we'll go back to the phones. Was it
Jenny?
Jenny?
Hello?
Jenny, you're 28.
Right.
What's going on?
I want to start out by saying I love you guys' show. I'm kind of an insomniac. I do a lot of scrapbooking and crafting at night, and you guys keep me laughing, so thanks for that.
Well, who doesn't do a lot of scrapbooking and crafting these days?
Hey,
what do you make? What's crafting? You make lanyards and things?
No, I do some watercolors, and I work on my kids' photo albums, and I have a problem with going to sleep on time, so I just...
Do you sleep in late in the morning?
Pardon me?
Do you sleep in the morning?
No, unfortunately, I work, but it's...
So you really just don't get sleep?
Yeah, when the kids go to bed, I just kind of go, ooh, mom time.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
All right, what's the question?
Well, I've been with my husband for about 8 years, and we have a great relationship, and as far as our sex life, it's really hot, started out really hot, and he introduced some kind of soft porn, to start, and I found myself liking it, and I didn't really think about it at first, but now I, especially with kids, and I'm an executive at work, and of course it's not really stuff you talk about at the office or anything, but I'm just
calling out from radio programs.
I was raised as a Catholic, and I just kind of think, should I be enjoying this, or
Well, listen, you're a human, so you're going, and you seem to like it, so that's not the issue. It's should you subsidize it, I suppose, is the question, right? Because it is degrading to women, isn't it?
Well, not the softcore.
It's degrading to women. It's exploitative of people who've been abused, because those are the people that get into those things.
Well, yeah, the softcore, I don't know how damaged those folks are. You know what I mean?
Jenny, you still doing the softcore stuff?
No.
Yeah, you graduate. Softcore is like it's stepping stone porn.
Plus, it's natural. I mean, you put a naked woman in front of the Pope, maybe not now, but back in the days, and he's Catholic, so I mean, I'm sure he would get an erection. He's human.
Yeah,
that's it.
So the point is, Jenny, is not should you enjoy this? I mean, that's natural enough. If you're inclined, it's something you appreciate. But should you be including this kind of stuff in your life? And
well, she doesn't.
200 million other people watch it.
She doesn't want to endorse it or subsidize it. And I suggest you just do what I do. I enjoy porn. You put a plea out to your listeners to send you porn. That way, you don't have to actually pay for it. So, do you find yourself watching movies?
Yeah, every once in a while we'll just pop a tape in, and it just, because of the subject matter, and I don't really get into of course, the visual to start, but then I find myself, like fantasy.
Think that it is your strict Catholic upbringing that makes this all sort of lurid and exciting in a way? That it's sort of, it's taboo, and that's part of the excitement for you?
No, it's...
Oh, come on, that was so good, that hypothesis. Go along with it, would you?
No, it's just that I don't want to be dependent on it. I don't want to start fantasizing and then having it not wreck my relationship. But just...
No, Jan, it doesn't happen like that. You look, I think with reasonable certainty we can say you're healthy.
Yeah.
And that's what determines whether or not your relationship is going to remain intimate and sound. You've got that going. This is all sort of trappings. This is just, this is entertainment for you guys. This is a way of enhancing something you're doing together in your physical intimacy.
Okay,
and it's something you should not feel guilty about, should not be embarrassed about. But I think it's a real issue that people need to think about. This is degrading to women. It is exploitative of people who've been abused. And what do we do about that?
Hey, it'd be funny if Jenny did a game show and they introduced her. She's Jenny. She's 28. She's an executive in advertising. She likes scrapbooking, arts and crafts, and ass porn. Yeah, it's you have a lot of diverse interests. I like that. You refuse to be pigeonholed, even if that's the name of the last movie you're in. And
how old are your kids?
Well, 7 and 3, and that's my other issue is at what point does our behavior start to affect our kids? And by behavior, I mean, I'll be cooking dinner and Dad will come up and he'll give me a hug and he'll kiss my neck. And, my kids are right there, and I think it's okay for them to see the love, but of course that's important, and I don't know.
Just make sure that the kids will find this stuff, too, is the other thing. I mean, kids start rummaging through closets at a relatively young age. That's what you have to be careful of. I think that's the major risk to them is they come across that at too young an age. That's bad.
Came up with a new idea now.
And
porn-sniffing dogs. Could you imagine? Come on, boy. What do you got there? Scratching underneath the box spring. What's that? What you got there, Duke? Oh, I see.
Every teenager in the country would have one.
Oh. All right, Mike, put Jenny on hold.
Jenny, you're fine. You are fine.
Listen,
all these concerns you have, healthy.
I'm going back to my original hypothesis, which is I think Jenny grew up in a kind of uptight environment, and she's a little freaked out about her own sexuality.
Yeah,
I mean,
but not in a bad way.
Can you someone shut Drew's mic off?
Not in a bad way. So
Would you shut up and let me finish my goddamn comment here? Here's the point. Religion is good for many things, but the problem is sometimes it tries to deny normal human biology and function. It really does. You can't masturbate, or you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Tell that to a 14 or 15-year-old kid. Now he's masturbating. He's just crying while he's doing it. You know what I mean?
All the restrictions make you want to do it more.
Yeah, love your neighbor. Don't covet his oxen or his wife. Do unto others. All that BS. That's fine. That's great. But don't deny people their biology. This poor woman, she's a good mother. She's a good wife. She's 28.
Got a great relationship.
She has her sexuality is part of her womanhood, just like any other. Let's not deny her that, and don't freak out about it. That's all right.
Seems pretty natural.
You love your husband. He kisses you on the neck. You watch a little Manuel goes to prison or whatever softcore or hardcore thing you're watching, and fine. Enjoy. I'm working. I'm waiting.
A bumper sticker.
I'm trying to
enjoy.
I'm going to wait until one day I'm going to be a maitre d'. I'm like fat and drunk and just in my 60s, and I'm just going to work at an Italian place
with a big white thing, like a tuxedo vest, and
with wine stains on the front of it. Hey, Adam, weren't you that wisecracking a-hole from Loveline? The show.
Maybe pictures of you with celebrities in the back.
Right. Thanks for coming, people. Enjoy. I'll be a greeter. All right, where are we going now, Drew?
Let's go to Alexis. She is 19.
Alexis.
Hi. My best friend, who is female, is addicted to sex, literally. Like, people are addicted to drugs or cigarettes. She fiends for it. She talks about it constantly. She tends to have sex with just about every guy that she hooks up with. She loves it. She talks about it constantly. And
is she an addict in other ways, do you think?
She smokes weed. And she
every day?
smokes cigarettes.
Does she smoke pot every day?
As much as possible, yeah.
And does she have a family member who's an alcoholic or an addict?
Her mom and her brother, both, they all smoke weed. It's like a family thing.
All right, so this is in all probability true addiction. Sexual addiction is an interesting disorder, let's call it, and we're sort of just beginning to come to terms with it. These days, people that work in the field of addiction are beginning to recognize that sexual addiction affects about 85 to 90% of addicts. And not only is it a response to that biology, which is primarily a thrill-seeking or an attempt to activate good feelings as a way of coping with or suppressing negative feelings. Sort of what starts addiction is just to feel better. It works. These drugs work at first. It's just that a biology is triggered as a result of that cause a progressive compulsion with these behaviors or these substances. With sexual addiction, there also needs to be some component of dysfunctional family, which, of course, if you come from an alcoholic family, that's sort of goes without saying that there's some component of that there. But it's issues of powerlessness and abandonment and feelings of emptiness and worthlessness that tend to be filled by these sexual contacts briefly, again, just like a drug, like you're saying, but never really in any meaningful way is anything filled or resolved. It's just about getting that fix and then doing it again. Rob's shaking his head. Do you agree?
I agree. I think we all went to school with somebody who was a slut, so I mean, it's everywhere, and just, you got to deal with it. It's
but it's
some people
more
are into that way, and when you smoke pot, it enhances, a lot of your senses and stuff, and it makes you think, like, focus on one thing and forget about everything else, and if that's on your mind at the time, and you smoke pot all the time, then, that's probably what you're going to end up.
Well, what Drew's saying, I think, and don't interrupt me even if this wasn't what you're saying, Drew, I don't mind misquoting you, is we find that addiction is sort of addiction. And it'll work. It'll work in gambling. It'll work with pot. It'll work with heroin. It'll work with sex. And when people have that sort of addictive nature, they get addictive about whatever it is they get into. Hey, get them into a hobby, they'll get compulsive and nutty about it. Get them following a sports team, they'll go nuts with that. So if you have that addictive gene, it also bleeds into the realm of sex.
And sex is but a particularly sort of pernicious place for those sorts of addictive behaviors to manifest, because it's like overeating. I mean, it's part of the normal biology, and it also is part of an extremely important part of being human and how we experience ourselves. And when that becomes a bromide, a way of fixing a bad feeling, you just lose all of the real richness of the interaction.
And young girls will never be cut off. You know what I mean?
It's not like going to a bar.
Yeah, it's like I was 19. I wasn't getting laid. I didn't have a choice. Women all got together. They took an oath. They decided no oral sex or no fornication for me for at least a year and a half. And that was it. I drove around a beat-up pickup truck. I was an idiot. I didn't make any money. I dug in a ditch all day, and I couldn't get laid to save my life. I need an ether rag and some duct tape in order to get laid. If you're 19, you're a woman, you're halfway attractive or even not, believe me, you can get laid every weekend, every weeknight, every party, every club. Just go out. If you don't have any standards and you don't care who you're dragging home, you can drag a guy home every night of the week. So and
that's a life-threatening behavior these days.
There's no limit. Society will not set a limit.
Yeah, you better put a helmet
for
on.
you.
Let's go to Marla. She is 15. We're going back down to the younger demos here, Adam, all right?
Okay.
Marla.
Hello.
Hi. Well, we're sorry we put you on hold so long. Go ahead.
Oh, poor Marla. Oh, Marla was the one we're going to take next an hour and a half ago?
Yes.
That was Drew.
Go ahead, Marla.
All right. Well, as a child, I was molested by a family member, and I have an opportunity on Thanksgiving to confront him.
Who was he?
My cousin.
How old is he?
He's 9 years older than me.
So he's 24 now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to know, how do I go about bringing it out? Like, I don't know.
Are you in any kind of treatment right now?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been in and out of hospitals, and for like depression and drug use and stuff.
Have you talked to anybody about this past history?
Yeah, but I've always quit going just because.
How old were you? How old were you, and what did he do?
I was 5, and everything took place.
Oh my God! So he was 9 years old. So he was 14.
No, he was 16.
I thought he was 9 years. Isn't he 9 years older than you?
All right. Well, he's 10 then, 10 years older, because he was 15 or 16.
Okay. And you're 5.
Yeah.
So that's pretty horrible stuff.
Marla, I don't know what you would necessarily accomplish by confronting him. You got to remember, this guy is sick, and this is the same person that's capable of perpetrating those sorts of atrocities. And I would think that sort of a confrontation would be very ungratifying for you.
I don't know.
And
personally, I blame everything on him.
All right.
Like all my problems and everything.
All right. It's fine to want to confront him. I don't object to that. I understand that. But it may trigger some very intense feelings.
Yeah.
And unless you're in some sort of treatment where you can sort of go back in a safe way and look at all this, I don't know. To stir all that up, to me, sounds rather dangerous. And I would very seriously reconsider it, and maybe not even. I mean, oof.
Well, especially, I don't want to laugh, but I'm just picturing the other poor bastard sitting at the table. How was Thanksgiving? Well, the turkey was dry, and Marla confronted Hank on molestation. It's like,
do you have to see him on Thanksgiving dinner and all that stuff? Or
Yeah.
Every year?
Every year?
Well, he hasn't been. He left after he got out of jail. He's been in and out of jail his whole life. And after he got out of jail the last time, he left. And
what's he in jail for? What did he go to jail for? Molesting kids?
It was for, he is so sick. One time it was for sacrificing a lamb and hanging it on a football field. And another time it was for drugs. And then another time was
so he's sick.
Concealed weapon or something.
Hey, it's going to be such an unpleasant experience, Marla.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you're really going to really get back in treatment, Marla. Please, take our word for this. Get back in treatment, stay with it. That is the critical part about getting better, is staying with these therapeutic relationships.
What about your parents, though, Marla? How are they?
I don't really get along with them. I used to live with my dad, and I got along with him really good, and he kicked me out of his house.
Why?
Because his wife didn't like me, because I'm
do they know this about
this guy?
Your cousin?
When I tried to commit suicide when I was 13,
yeah.
I got sent to a hospital for it for a month, almost 2 months, and they put me under hypnosis because they couldn't find out why I was so depressed. They put me under hypnosis, and it came out.
Did this happen repeatedly?
Yeah, my uncle babysat me after kindergarten. And
God knows what uncle was doing to cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And ultimately, I always blame the parents.
Yes.
Because first off, you got to know what's going on with your kid. You just got to. And number two, this uncle was the brother of somebody. What's that?
My whole life, my dad wasn't a part of my life during my whole childhood.
Right,
because my parents got a divorce when I was 2. So he was never there. And then my mom was always at the bars, and I was always at the babysitter.
All right, so, I mean, Marla, here's the deal. Not only did this cousin of yours do you wrong and the uncle do you wrong, but your mom did you wrong and your dad did you wrong.
Those are the ones they teed it up, Mom and Dad.
Right, they may not have taken the swing, but they certainly were doing some catting.
They teed the ball up for everybody.
Right.
Another question that's kind of revolving to what we're talking about right now is, right now, I'm 15, my parents are, wanting to be, the biggest part of my life, and I mean, it's like they were never there when I needed them, and now that...
Yeah,
Marla, please get into the treatment and stay in, hang in. When it seems like the most miserable or worthless or meaningless process, that's the time you need to continue. And really, I would advise you not to confront this guy. I try not to give specific advice on this show, but to me, it just sounds like a very unstable and potentially dangerous situation.
And you're not going to get a goddamn thing out of it. You're not going to walk away feeling better one iota.
Well, you might, but you most probably will not. You probably will not.
You're not.
And without some sort of supervision, this is not the kind of thing you want to be doing.
Right.
But every time I go to treatment, to talk to, psychologists and psychiatrists, they always either want to stick me on so much medication that it's not even funny. And my mom, we really don't have the money, and that's why I've had to cancel every time.
Well, just get in with somebody whom you can really trust, and maybe stay with the talk part for now.
Talk to people about your problems. It helps getting it out.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what else we can say to Marla. I mean, you can't. It's hard to get perspective when you're 15 years old. Yes, thank you. All I would say to her is, the next few years they're going to be hell.
Yep.
Let's face it.
Yep.
And here's the good news. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, look back at what you did, from 0 to 18 or whatever. It doesn't mean squat now. Time moves slowly at that age, but now you look back on it, it's just a blink of an eye. It's like another life. You were spinning on a piece of cardboard on top of your head. Well,
I tried to commit suicide myself back in 94 when I overdosed, on purpose, 25, somewhere around there. But, and it was hard because I had to eliminate the whole crowd I was running with. And I come from somewhat of a dysfunctional family, and basically had to start over from scratch, you know, and I was all alone and having to kick the drugs. It was very, you know, hard and, yeah, and painful. But I did go to, you know, my shrink, and I got, you know, some help. And
how many times did you have to, did you relapse a few times before it's tough?
Yeah, it was pretty hard, you know, but bottom line is nobody's going to do it for you. You got to do it yourself. You know, you got to let your self-discipline kick in and just...
the biology is so profound that people normally kind of stutter along before they finally...
Yeah, it was hard.
Stop whacking the table, will you please?
It's not an easy road, I mean, you know, but there is light on the other side, and you know, if you just keep with it, you know, you'll find it.
All right, so Marla, don't kill yourself. Don't confront anybody. Your parents are trying to reach out to you. They've done you wrong in the past. See if you can find it in your heart to forgive them or at least work with them. Take the offering that they're giving you. Take the treatment. I know you're full of rage and hurt and rebellion. Just see if you can put it aside and help yourself. And you're 15.
Loads of time.
You know, you can have the greatest life you want. Just do the work.
Or not.
Now. And God... I just wish a tree would fall on this guy. You know, and here's the beauty, too. This guy's out.
Right.
And he's packing. He's out. Don't worry, he'll be back in. He'll have to kill somebody, but he'll be back. I wish we could just sort of... What I want to do as a society is I want to just look at people, and I want to see the makings of a monster. You know, pedophilia. He probably was a victim of some sort of abuse.
All kinds of abuse.
Sacrifice is the lamb. God knows this is the stuff we only know about. And we're living in a society where we don't have a problem with this guy owning a gun. It's his God-given right. And we got to wait for him to F up before we put him in again.
Yeah, I wouldn't approach him because he sounds pretty crazy psychotically. You never know what he might do. Retaliate, you know, but I'd stay away from that.
I would... I'm going to just poison his cranberry sauce.
And tell them it's from Adam Carolla.
When is Thanksgiving?
Thursday. I mean, a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, I won't give my... remind me to give my recipe for...
cranberries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tired of this can business, all you white trash losers out there.
What
I just want to say is I won't get into the recipe yet. I'll give that out later.
What if you like that can? You cut the sauce with a knife.
But you got to understand that it's something that you had forced up you for so long that you only think you like it. You don't really like it. You
don't know.
Rob,
you don't know what you mean.
Here's my beef. When it comes to Thanksgiving, people spend the entire day in the kitchen. That's what a lot of families do. Usually the mom, whoever, stepmom, significant other. We don't have moms anymore. At least our listeners don't. But your life mate, your gal pal, whoever, is in the kitchen. They get in there about 11 in the morning and about 4:30 in the afternoon. 6 hours later, it's time to feast. But 2 minutes before they put everything on the table, they fire up the can opener and they open that gelatinized canned cranberry sauce, and it's you know, the can is sort of serrated.
Yeah,
it's got the ridges, and it's just like Del Monte's on the side, and they put it in, and then they attempt to slice it up. And after all this beautiful homemade fixings, the turkey took 4 hours, homemade stuffing and everything else, yams, everything. Here you have the canned cranberries. Now, I enjoy cranberries, and I can tell you that it takes about 6 minutes to make fresh cranberry sauce. It's no big deal. I guarantee you that is the least of your worries. If you want to look at candied yams, if you want to look at the string beans, if you want to look at the turkey, the stuffing,
it's all
mashed
more
potatoes, whatever it is, it's all tenfold harder than the cranberries. But yet, we open that can, and it follows me around like a plague.
We fade out to commercial while Adam goes on about cranberries. When we get back, we'll hear another song from Vanilla Ice.
By the call.
All right. Okay. The phone number for Loveline is 1-800-LOVE-191. Loveline, I'll be right back.
Fat Adam here. Oh, Drew, you're miserable. Vanilla Ice is here. Rob Van Winkle.
My God.
Hard to Swallow is the name of the CD. I'll tell you what. Here's what I like to do now.
Play a song.
I like to play the entire CD. We'll just go. Can we do that? That'll be some groundbreaking radio. Are we going to hear a song? Or, Jewel, by the way, will be in...
Living?
Living, yep.
Tomorrow night. Jewel will be in the fabulous Westwood 2 studios.
And she's the only voice you'll hear tomorrow night. We'll be sitting there. We'll be like propped up like dummies.
We'll be fine, Drew, please. We rally. I'm extra funny when I can't think. All right, so are we going to hear Living right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Off of Hard to Swallow, this is Living. Oh, we back? Talking about mortgages. That's Living off of Hard to Swallow. That sounded good, by the way.
All right, thanks.
I wish I could get more enthusiastic about life right now. Rob Van Winkle is here. You know him as Vanilla Ice. This is the new sound. And we like Rob. So we command you to go out and get this CD. It's very important to us. It won't be important this time tomorrow, but tonight it's important. It's paramount. So go out and get that. Yeah, really the neat thing about this show, if I could find something neat at this hour, Drew, is you get to meet everybody. And, I mean, it's like you're sitting with, last week you're sitting with Richard Branson, the head of Virgin Airlines and Virgin Megastores and everything. You got Vanilla Ice tonight. We'll be talking to Jewel tomorrow. And the through line is everyone's just a person. That's the first thing you learn, except for George Clinton, the King of Funk.
He wasn't a person?
He's like three guys. Yeah, it's not really. He's not a person. And he's got a little funk to him, too.
Yeah,
not just the beat, but the feet. You know what I'm saying?
Poor George.
Oh,
the music's great.
He's got the funk,
Got the funk, though.
He's got the funk.
All right, what else?
But it's just neat, and it's weird that, you know, and you just stop me if I'm waxing philosophical for too long here.
A guy who's drunk too much sitting at the bar talking to the bartender. Yeah.
First off, I love you. I love you, man. Ice, I love you too, baby. I know we've only known each other for an hour and 20 minutes, but I love you, man. I knew when you walked in. But it's just people you see, you hear, you have impressions, you don't know what to make of them, and you realize that we are all so guilty of doing a lot of labeling in this society, good and bad. Yeah. Some people we've made into saints, other people we've turned into the devil. But really, when you sit down and you just talk to people, they all just turn out to be just sort of people. They have their own stories. The rich ones aren't necessarily any happier than the poor ones, and they all have had their trials and tribulations, and there's not a person that we've ever spoken to that hasn't gone through an addiction, loss of a family member, whatever, bad relationship. We're all just people. All right, Drew, I think that's enough. I'm ready to go.
All right, go on. But first, let's talk to Genevieve, who's been on hold 114 minutes. She is 24. Yeah. Genevieve.
Hi, guys. I hope you're holding up under this pressure. I'm calling because I'm very concerned about my 13-year-old sister. She has seen me get booted out of the house at about 19. My mom's a very manipulative person. My dad is overseas at his job, so really not in the picture. And she confides in a lot of friends of her age group about what's happening, and apparently her friends have even brought up the concern. She's having non-serious suicidal thoughts.
Oh boy, there's no such thing as a non-serious suicidal thought, Genevieve.
She said she's dallied with it, but she's pretty level-headed for 13, and she told me directly it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Genevieve, you don't rationalize or discuss suicidal ideation. That is a symptom of profound depression, and her life is in danger. You don't mess around with that.
Okay.
But she's dabbling in suicide.
Yeah, I don't care what the dynamics are of the situation. This needs professional supervision. Your sister's life is in danger. It'd be like if she was short of breath and had some sort of terrible pulmonary problem, and you wanted to sit around and rationalize about it. No. No, this is a symptom of a profound problem.
It's an excellent example, Drew. If you're sitting around chewing the fat about it, your pulmonary
people
problem.
somehow can if they're having chest pain, it's like, well, we wouldn't talk about that because that might be life-threatening. But thinking about suicide, that's something we're going to sit down and talk about. It's like, hey, this is also maybe.
Here's the problem with suicide. First off, it's gotten a bad rap over the years. Secondly, there's so many people attempt suicide unsuccessfully that people don't know what to make of it anymore.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Let's just put.
I don't know. Maybe that sounds retarded, but I don't know what the example. I don't know what the statistics are with 13-year-olds or 19-year-olds. But what percentage of people who claim they've attempted suicide or dabbled in it have successfully done it?
I can give you. I can only tell you that 17% of people with major depression will die, and that particularly young males who have suicidal ideation will succeed.
Okay. So, anyway, Genevieve, you should definitely take it seriously. Okay. And number two, what's up with your mom?
She is a manipulator. She uses things as simple as the pet dogs in the house or as complicated as, getting a driver's license or going out with her friends.
All right, but what sort of cruelty is she perpetrating on this 13-year-old?
She's not doing anything like beating her or, the verbal abuse is there, scoldings. But from day to day, my sister never knows where she stands. And my mom plays the therapist game. She goes to a therapist until the therapist tells her stuff she can't deal with, and then she switches therapists.
Okay. But, Genevieve, you have a lot of issues with your mom.
Mom, that behavior right there sort of suggests a personality disorder, or some, at least personality disorder traits.
Right.
And
oddly enough, now that I'm out of the house, she kicked me out when I was 19. I wrapped up college, got on with my life. I'm married now. My relationship with my mom is actually better at this point.
Of course.
Because it's like she sees me as an adult, and I won't take the crap anymore.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is another of my mom's game playing is one day I'm mad at you, the next day I buy you really cool stuff. And I think that's really appealing to her at being 13. She
you're way, Genevieve, you're way overthinking something that you really don't understand.
Well, and plus, I think Genevieve, it's become kind of cathartic for her because it's like there's this 13-year-old represents her 13, who she sort of left behind, and now it's going to retroactively work on.
Not necessarily an unhealthy impulse, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just that it is about Genevieve, though, is ultimately.
Right. Well, my problems with her didn't start till I was about 16 and got a driver's
license. All right, but here's the deal. Focus on the suicide.
Yeah, get her help. Don't worry about the figuring it out because you don't understand what you're dealing with here. Get her help. These are very, very serious symptoms. The situation is a mess. If you want to get involved in some sort of family counseling with your sister and your mom, sounds fantastic. But don't be the therapist yourself. Don't try to be the professional that's intervening. Get the professional intervention that's necessary here, okay?
Is a school counselor adequate?
Okay, Mike, start putting people on hold, would you please? What are you doing?
School counselor
Looking up internet porn over there?
School counselor is not enough, Genevieve. It's a place to start, but I think the school counselor would just be referring her for more comprehensive care. So.
Okay. That didn't get out over the air, did it?
Yeah, of course it did.
Oh, Drew, can't you stop me? Vanilla Ice is here. We're going to take ourselves a little break. Who are we going to talk to when we come back, Drew?
We will talk to Dan, who's a big fan of Vanilla Ice.
Okay. All after this. Rob Van Winkle's our guest tonight. You know him as Vanilla Ice. Vanilla turns out to be just a friendly guy. I like the new Vanilla. The sober Vanilla, the family man Vanilla. Phone number, oh, forget about that phone number. Last thing we need is you troublemakers calling me. True?
Yeah.
We're in New York tonight. We did the Conan O'Brien show. I want to thank everybody who's made this show possible. Whenever we travel and do the show on the road, it means a few more people have to stay up late, and a few more people have to, take a few phone calls and shuttle them this way or that way, and there's work to be done. I just want to thank...
Well, thank Ann for helping us set this up.
Which one's Ann? I want to thank Ann. All right.
And Mike for pulling off the engineering.
All right. Just everybody. You know who you are. Thank you, Mike.
And Conan's people, they were nice.
Conan's people were nice, except for those bastards had us get there. Bastards. And Drew, I blame you.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yes, it was my fault.
Swear to God. Here's what happened, and it happens every time, which is... went to bed at 1:30 last night, got up at 5 this morning to get on a plane to get out to New York to make the Conan O'Brien show. The Conan O'Brien show tapes at 5:30, and we land in New York at 3 o'clock. Although...
3:45.
No, we got here early.
Okay.
We got here at like 2:40.
2:45, right.
We caught like a wind or like the pilot farted or something, and we got here an extra 20 minutes early. Actually, I know the reason why we got here 20 minutes early is because I was asleep. If I'd been shoved back in the coach, between a crying baby and the Jehovah's Witness, it would have been 20 minutes late. But we got here early, and I said, good. We need to go to the hotel. We need to take a shower. We need to lie down and decompress for 45 minutes to an hour. Then we'll go over to Conan O'Brien. Oh, no, you got to be there at 4:30. You got to go straight from the airport to Conan O'Brien. And I kept saying, why do we got to be there so early? We're going on last, so on and so forth. As it turned out, we didn't hit the stage until 6:30. We got to Conan O'Brien at
4:15.
No, it was 4:45. Remember?
I remember it was earlier than we were supposed to.
4:45, and sat around there like sorry chumps. And said, the people are like, what are you doing here? So like, he said we had to be here at 4:30. No, we didn't. We don't ask anyone to get here before 5. And I was yelling at Drew yesterday and on the plane and stuff. Why? Oh, we got to be there. We got to be there. You're so scared of the man, Drew. Relax. Start listening to me.
I thought I was the man.
You're scared of yourself then, you big wuss. Listen to me. We could have went to the hotel.
You're right.
Could have masturbated. Wouldn't have my edge. All right, where are we?
Well, Rob?
Punch your clown.
That's right.
We were talking to Dan. Dan is 17.
We were?
Yeah, Dan.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, first off, I got to say, for my friend Josh, he loves the Atom. We listen to you a lot here in Tucson. And for Vanilla Ice, I'm a huge fan. I love what you did with the Bloodhound Gang. That was a great compilation and stuff. So.
Oh, killer! Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I like it. So yeah, I love how far your music's progressed. It's real cool. So yeah, I'm gonna keep listening. So yeah, word to your mother.
All right, Dan, appreciate it, man.
Hey, do you got that jacket? Didn't you have that jacket had the word to your mother on it?
Thanks, Dan.
It should be. Do you have that thing?
I don't know. I probably gave it away somewhere.
Oh, you could have sold that thing for plenty.
Let's talk to Josh.
Sure, you hip to the word to your mother?
No.
Yeah.
A few years ago, it was good for a cheeseburger at McDonald's.
Josh.
Josh?
Hi.
What's going on? You're 22.
Yeah. I've been listening to the show for a few weeks, and there are a few words I've heard come up over and over again, and I just had a couple questions.
Go right ahead.
Like, something I hear a lot is the word codependency.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you mean by that in this context.
It is a rather generic term that probably encompasses many, many different dynamic and diagnostic issues. Basically, it was originally evolved to describe people that got involved with addicts.
Okay.
Where people need a sick person to focus on, to fix, in order to feel worthwhile themselves.
They need a project.
And there are many reasons for that. And it's a very complex issue, and we talk to a lot of people with codependency-type issues on this show.
I have the feeling he wants some more definitions. Is that true, Josh?
Well, I just want kind of just a sense of what you mean by it. I mean, I hear the word a lot, and I don't really know. I mean,
so just codependency.
Yeah.
There's a book called Codependent No More that's a sort of a reasonable synopsis of this stuff. What was the other question?
Similar kind of thing. I've also heard you talk about a sponsor when it comes to like Al-Anon or AA or something.
Yeah, when the whole foundation of a 12-step treatment program is a relationship, an intimate relationship with another person who's been through the process of recovery. That person, and part of recovery is being of service to other people who are dealing with this disease. That person becomes the sponsor, and it's that person that you actually do the steps with. And the steps is basically a structured way of doing therapy, basically. It's a way of developing an intimate relationship and getting honest about who you are and how you relate to people.
Rob, you have a sponsor?
Yeah.
You do? Do you?
I'm fine now. I did before, but...
When do you get to the point where you sponsor somebody, or do you?
I had to go through it a lot by myself, though. It took a lot of just self-discipline myself to get through it and knock it, but I had some people that have been through it and were on the other side, and they helped me, show me a way, you know.
I'd be the world's worst sponsor. It'd be like the phone would ring. Hello? Hi, it's me. I'm really neat. Oh, Christ. Hold on. Let me turn on the TV. What's going on? Hold on. Let me put down the bong. What's going on?
Josh, anything else?
No, that's about it. Just
all right.
You guys
all right, Josh.
Thank you.
Get into all those things.
All right, let's
I don't care if you're an addict or not.
Real quickly, Courtney, who is 18. Courtney.
Hey, that's me. You guys had me on hold forever, but that's okay.
Adam had a hold button nearby.
Lucky I can't get to that button tonight.
It's okay. No, I had like this really weird problem. Okay, I'm 18. I turned 18 a couple months ago. Okay, and I was a virgin until I turned 18. And I met this guy over the internet, but he's a really cool guy, though. I met him over the internet, and I ended up losing my virginity to him. And the problem is, like, I've talked to his ex-girlfriends and everything, and they were just like, oh, yeah, he's just, like, really great in bed. But I just don't see it. And I don't know if it's just me or what. And I've brought it, I don't want to, like, bring it up to him to, like, hurt his feelings because I don't know if it's
Do you still have a relationship with him?
Yeah, we're still together. We've been together for, like, 2 or 3 months now. And I asked him, because he was with his last girlfriend, and she was a virgin too, and I asked him, I'm all, well, did she enjoy it? And
I think it's his handle on the internet is like Cherry Buster or something.
God. But Courtney, do you tell him what you need?
Huh?
Do you tell him what you like and what you need?
No, but...
And good is not good for everybody. And if you can't communicate to him exactly what works for you, it's not going to be good.
Why are you talking to his ex-girls?
Why? Oh, because I know them. They're just people that I just know.
Courtney,
yeah?
You got to talk to him.
Well, what's he not doing?
Hey, don't worry about his feelings. Worry about being able to assert yourself clearly and get your needs met, okay?
Settle down.
We got to go.
We do not. We're running along tonight. What'd he not do?
I just don't like. I'm just not. It's gotten to the point where I don't even like it anymore, and I don't know if it's just because I've gotten past the it hurts stage, but now I just kind of lay there, and then like I don't want to say anything to him now because like the last 2 times we've done it, I've kind of faked it, and like if
Courtney is a bad precedent you're setting here. And you got to speak up.
It doesn't sound like she's into this guy.
That sort of seems.
Courtney, you're not into this guy, are you?
Yeah, I totally like him a lot, and like I don't want to.
What's he doing? I mean, what is he doing so poorly?
That's what I don't understand. If it's just me or what? Because he's like totally into it and everything, and I just lay there.
See, I think he's probably into the sort of the mechanical, physical part of it, but doesn't deliver emotionally in a way that she needs.
Yeah,
even
but
though
let me
she's
tell you
into
something.
him sort of ideally.
No. When you're attached to somebody emotionally, when you're into somebody, and they're keeping up the physical end of it, you can still enjoy that experience.
But if the guy is unable to continue to connect during the physical experience, or somehow he like becomes, somehow just detached and mechanical, or if she doesn't experience the connection in the same way, nothing's going to work.
All right. It is my, I'm telling you, I don't think she's that into this guy.
All right, we got to go to break.
All right.
Loveline on 92.1 KFMA.
Oh, there it is. All right, that's it. Rob Van Winkle, Vanilla Ice, thank you very much for coming in, staying up all night with us.
No pressure. Thanks for having me.
Do appreciate that. Hard to Swallow is the name of the CD. It is out. It is everywhere. We highly recommend it. Go out and get it. Jewel will be in tomorrow night when we're back in L.A. I want to thank everyone we thanked before. And thank you again. We'll talk to you guys about this time tomorrow. So until then, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying mahalo.
This has been Loveline. The views expressed on Loveline are not necessarily those of the staff, the management, or the sponsors of this radio station. And are probably not the views of Westwood One Entertainment. Loveline is produced by Ann Wilkins Ingle. Now, please listen to this station longer.